Standing on the rock. Morocco, here we go. Moabite Mo. Grand Sheik Cujo. Let's flow.
Up from the grave, no longer in that state. Colonization claimed my consciousness, but now I'm awake. Broke the chains of being ignorant, I stand on the truth. Competent in my proper person, rocking the boot. Navigating through the waters in the leanable rights. The 7 seas, all I sent me, so I'm bringing the light. Can't rewind the hands of time, so I'm expanding my space. I'm from one human family, the human race. My pedigree is in my blood, I'm forever a Moor. Asiatic Moabite, and I'm ready for war. She redeems when I speak, and I'm speaking to me. Assistant and helping, uplifting fallen humanity. For the record, on the record, neither Negro or black or troglodyte. My people suffering, we only attack. My people perish from true knowledge, we so desperately lack. So why in the hell would I wanna go back? Nope. Can't go back to that. Been a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. I can't go back to that. If I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright.
Yeah, we don't regress but progress. Crystals back for no stress. With a feather not liberate the mind's oppressed. Staring at a wall in a hole, show you a ladder. Which is not a thing you climb, but your 7 chakras. Ask Jacob, 5 up, assalamu alaikum. Left foot first, so standing on the square, take 'em. The opposite of get out black holes into light. So marvelous, you get scared from fright. False and light, to men appears real, you just might. Sit that trap, can't move, just paralyzed. Paralysis that you only get if you sleep. Your heights are so deep, the depths are so deep. Intelligent hoodlum said arrest the presidency. 2 shots for drink champs, Nori knows Drew Ali. Call him Yassine Bey, most deaf, you think like the colonists. Even though Nostradamus told you what your problem is.
Can't go back to that. Been a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. I can't go back to that. If I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. Can't go back to that. Been a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. I can't go back to that. If I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. I rise to give honors to Allah, the Father of the universe, to Noble Drew Ali, to Grand Sheik Cujo Awo El, Canaanland Moors, for sharing this mic with me. Temple number 5, to my son, my firstborn, for producing this track. Hassani Mosai 206, also known as Preach to God, and to DJ Funk Daddy, the best in the West, Washington Republic, and to my emperor, Islamism.
Peace, Moors. Islam. Sorry about the late start for all the online people cussing me.
You get a chance for attendance?
All the text messages about where you at and all
I
that.
haven't got rid of my name officially yet. So
Alright.
should I just put the...
We talk, man. That's all right.
Yeah, we're going today. What's going on there?
We're going on that.
Yeah. Let's just get out. Let's do our prayer and get started. Face the east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace. Freedom.
And
justice.
justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
And
by day. Through his holy prophet.
Holy Prophet.
Noble Drew Ali. His love.
So 5 on the left.
Thanks, children, for chilling back there. Thanks for the children.
Yes. $6.
A warning from the Prophet. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while on their jobs, homes, or on the public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Jew Ali. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam, I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the last few years. Islam. So it's crazy how stuff works, but you know. Got some mail today. Billing notice. Now keep in mind this is a billing notice from one of these individuals who were in the temple, had their little smear campaign and all that stuff, went around, talked BS about Cujo and all that, Canaanland Moors, you guys are fraud and all that. And then we get their billing notice. So obviously they had put down, even though they're slander or whatever, they're using here as the address, their address for whatever they're doing out there, right? You know, because, you know, as Moorish Americans, our teachings is that your domicile isn't where you send stuff. You know what I mean? You always have an alternate, quote unquote, address. You know what I mean? So if you're a member of the temple, your identification is going to have here as your address for your correspondence, so that nothing's coming back to where you lay your head, because these people like kicking doors and stuff like that or whatever.
For sure.
Right? So they obviously been taught. Right? April 22nd, 2017, Melissa L. Plaz Bay. This is the same sister who, in the if you go on YouTube, watch the Memory Lane video. And the Memory Lane video, the second half, was us shooting a video in the temple with her children in the video, in the temple, and she's in the video and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And they got issues, right? With the establishment of what being Moors is and all that stuff here. You know what I'm saying? So we know that these are sent people, right? These aren't people, and then
I
again,
didn't see what was on the back there. But
yeah, I just noticed it too. It just gives all the different phone numbers for all the different things, all the different
places?
libraries,
Okay, so go on.
and online account,
Stuff.
answer line, and whatever.
You were gonna say something before that, I thought.
But yeah, so they sent their notice to this individual, Toronto Public Library,
It's obviously current, too.
right? So this is recent. It was after the slander.
Way after.
Right?
Enough time to change address, any kind of addresses and
So
whatever.
nothing's been changed as yet.
Yeah.
Or possibly utilizing this to commit their fraud.
To commit their whatever it is that they're committing. Library records show that the following charges have not been paid. Remember, these are the same people who authenticate birth certificates and stuff like that. Got millions of dollars in account. Don't forget, right? They went and they did the process and stuff like that. They could discharge debts and all that stuff.
Sure.
But they got library notice that they're not taken care of. Right? This is how good the birth certificate redemption movement stuff that everybody's saying that we're part of, because we say sovereign. They would never say sovereign citizen. We might say sovereign sometimes, but we never say sovereign citizen. But they want to tie us to that and all that stuff. Okay, well, the Moors who are doing that stuff, right? Here's an example of that doesn't work. Right?
Well, they forgot the live birth form, so.
Library records show that the following charges have not been paid. Please pay these charges as soon as possible. Failure to do so may result in the suspension of your borrowing privileges. If you have already contacted the library concerning these outstanding charges, please disregard this notice. Of course they gotta, right? So, April 20th, 2017, March 7th, 2017, March 7th, 2017, March 11th, 2017, April 20th, 2017. Overdue amount, $2.45. $2.45, $1, $3.15, $3.15, $2.45. Unpaid amount, $14.65. Unpaid bills. And this is for the Toronto Public Library at 120 Martin Ross Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. Right, so we'll write them something, let them know. We don't know who you're talking about or whatever like that. This address is not affiliated with this individual, so you know what I mean? Do you guys have the library police or whatever like that? Let them deal with it.
Yeah.
Right? So yesterday we did our vending over at the Professor Small lecture. Make sure you Google GACNTO. So we got the opportunity to vend, and then we got the opportunity to sit down in the lecture for a little bit and take in some of the, some of the presentation. So one of the things off the bat that is not secret or anything like that is that Professor Small is a Prince Hall, and we'll just put the Mason up here as well so people are not confused what we're talking about. Right? Prince Hall Mason, and we'll just put brackets right here, Black Mason. So the Black Mason, known as Prince Hall, Professor James Small is one of these guys. And it's interesting that in sitting down and having a conversation with the elder, it's clear that he doesn't have any problem with the Moors. He doesn't have any problem with what the Moors teaching. Doesn't have any problem with how the Moors exercise being Moors, from a historical perspective. When they're dealing with the Moors, it's never being dealt with from the perspective of that, you know, the Moors and the Arabs, and then they enslaved the people and the black people and all that stuff. Not talking from that perspective, right? Using it as a reference point for
more like how long we've been around.
our people to know that we've been here as everything. You go anywhere in the world, you're gonna see quote unquote black faces on everything. Anywhere you go in the world. You know what I mean? So you start off the presentation going through the continent and showing that, you know, the continent is not just some grass skirts in the bushes and the spear chucking and all that stuff. They got buildings and, you know what I mean? Roads, and they're actually civilized over there. It's not the stuff that we've been portrayed that this is what Africa is, our culture is based on, you know, some nomads or whatever like that. So it goes through all this stuff, brings up the thing that he's Prince Hall, you know, and you know our people's perspective about Masons, you know, so you would think somebody would, you know, ask a question like, what do you mean? You're like, those are the Illuminati guys who are, according to how they talk, you know what I'm saying? He's admitting that he's down with the Illuminati or whatever. Prince Hall Masons, they got their charter from England, who are the people who came and enslaved the people and put them on the slave ships, brought them over here, all that. But nothing, not a peep from anybody. Let him go on with his stuff. So he's going through this.
We're crazy.
Yeah, right? But Moors don't know what we're talking about. But black Mason elder that they respect or whatever, they tell the same stuff that Moors tell them, but they don't got no debate with him. You know what I mean? He's their distinguished elder, and you know what I mean? He came from the line of, you know what I mean, Dr. Ben, and honors to these guys and all that stuff. But if you honor them so much, how come you're not taking their position on the Moors? Not taking their historical perspective of the Moors. Not the 2% of BS in the history of the Moors that everybody who claims not to be Moor focuses on as what it is about Moors. And then all their people who are their scholars are telling them the grandeur stuff about Moors, writing books about it and all that stuff.
You know what gets me sorry?
Go ahead, Moor, because you were there too, so make sure you bring up stuff today.
When you showed one of the Moors with the red fez.
Oh, the Egyptian? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, some in the audience right now, because you see us too in the audience.
Right? So he goes to ancient Egypt. Right? See if Pharaoh's in there? See if Pharaoh's in there. Ancient Egypt. And then he was talking about how in the movies, etc., they portray, you know, right? They portray ancient Egyptians as white and red people. Right, remember, this is the historian for Dr. Reggie, all these people, right? This is their guy, right? He says that he shows a picture of a pharaoh. He shows a picture of a pharaoh wearing the fish head hat, like what the Pope has, right? And it was white.
It goes out like that.
Yeah, it goes out like you know, almost like a turban or whatever, and it was white. And he said, our people, the ancient Egyptians, used white paint.
Right.
They used white paint, right? Look at your ancient whatever, you know what I mean, headdress, whatever like that, and white. If the ancient Egyptians were white people, and ancient Egyptians have white paint, they would have made the people white. But everywhere you go, everybody's black or whatever, right? So then he puts up a next picture of the Pharaoh wearing the red, almost looking like a fez upside down, because it opens like this, opposed to going like a pyramid.
Crown,
Right, yeah. Right? So the red one, right? So he said, you know, then he goes there, you got red paint, right? And remember, this is on like a wall, you know what I'm saying? Like what? 20-foot wall or something like that?
Yeah, it's
Right?
big.
20-foot wall, right? And this thing's on the big stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, they have the lights down so you can see the wall and all that stuff, right? Man has the red thing on his head. So see, you have red paint. People say that the ancient Egyptians were red people. But if they have a red headwear or whatever, they have red paint, they would have made them red. And then he goes, it's a red hat, just like the Moors in the Moor Science Temple.
He said that, eh?
Oh yeah,
Isn't that right,
and he
Morris?
pointed to us, and he
Yeah.
pointed to us, 'cause we
Isn't
were-
that right, Moors?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry.
And there's gonna be videos so everybody can know that, you know, that's what he said. Now, keep in mind, we're not new to this. Because Phil Valentine came here.
Say the same. Oh, yeah.
Phil Valentine came
Said
here.
the same thing.
And Phil Valentine
His last sentence
pointed over
Yep.
to where the Moors were at.
and said, make sure you get in touch with the Moors to find out more about what I'm talking about.
Phil Valentine. Dr. Phil Valentine, the renowned everybody, you know what I mean, knows who he is. Told everybody out here, pointed to the table, hey, those guys, make sure you guys check those guys. Trust me,
Nobody.
y'all and maybe 3 people from that checked us. After Phil Valentine put it on the record. So we already know that, you know, there's gonna be few that are gonna gravitate. We already know, right? So he put it on the record that the Moors got their stuff from ancient Egypt. So if George G.M. James is gonna say that the Moors are the custodians of the culture of Egypt, and then the Moors were the ones who took that culture, which was Egyptian culture, and then spread it all throughout the world, right? We don't have to say Moorish science. We can say we are the custodians of ancient Egyptian culture. Forget those guys talking about that they got hieroglyphics and they deciphered Medu Neter or whatever like that. They don't got nothing. Right? They don't even know what they're talking about.
They're not even using it.
They're not even using that stuff. They're not even using it to its capacity if they're the Comedians or whatever. And then that stuff was really spells and all that. You know what I mean? Then, just like what he was saying, if we were the whoever's that history says that we were, then we wouldn't be in this room right now. This is James Small. And every time he makes reference to the Moors, he just looks over where the Moors are at. And then he goes back to his stuff, showing whatever, right? So he put it on the record that these are the same people. Remember, this is the Black Power scholar guy, right? Not that he's Black Power, because remember, he's Mason. So he's not Black Power. That's a front. That he's not, you know, he's not in the front like that. That's people pushing it like that. Pushing it like he's down with what they're talking about when they talk. Just because they say Kemet. And then they say James Small. And then, you know, people are automatically going to say, okay, well, he's obviously down. He sanctions these guys. If he's their elder, but he's Prince Hall Mason. And he told me that he's been studying Noble Ali since he was like 18 years old.
I have a question. So
He's 71 right now.
is he saying all civilization comes from Egypt?
Not Not all. But as we know, if as soon as we say Egypt and we confine civilization to this one area,
Because other civilizations before
we taint
Yeah, okay.
civilization.
Yeah.
Right? So if we say Egypt is the founding of civilization, then that would mean, you know, Kush is in with that because they come before Egypt.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Sumeria is in with that. Phoenicia's in with that. Babylonians in with that. You know, but then when you look at that, that's now just scattering across the globe now. It's not confined to this one area.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So you talk to the people in Australia, they're not talking about nothing going on in Egypt. Egypt ain't nothing to them. Like, what's Egypt? We've been here for 50 billion years or whatever. Forget Egypt and pharaohs or whatever like that. We have our own stuff. Here's our records to show that, you know what I mean? We had culture here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to encapsulate the vastness of ourselves as a people, we'll say Egypt is the whatever that, and we point to we'll bring the map, right? Bring the map. And then if we say Egypt, from a geographical perspective, we're also talking about North Africa, which is where everybody knows where the Moors come from. So everybody knows the Moors come from North Africa, but then they're not going to tie Egypt to the Moors. Even though it's on the map that Egypt is part of North Africa. And everybody knows that only Moors come from North Africa if you talk to the black guys. They don't come from anywhere else. Moors are confined to North Africa. All right, cool, we're going to take that. But Egypt is also confined to North Africa. Right? It's not just Moors. You know what I mean? So, it's the idea of putting the concepts in people's head that when you go and you look at the landscape of the individuals who are, say, therefore, the whatever of our people, okay, who are those guys' teachers? Right? Okay, and then you check their teachers, and their teacher's a Mason, then that means they know about Moors and all that. And because of an oath, they can't talk. That's what we learned with Ivan van Sertima. Right? That Tajri Bey put out. That Ivan van Sertima told him personally that if I talk about Moors from the perspective of just I'm a Moor and you're a Moor and he's a Moor and we're all Moors and this is our birthright and all that stuff, he's going to lose his tenure. You won't be able to, all that stuff, go to school and get degrees and all that stuff would mean nothing because nobody's going to even consider you. Opposed to, you know, the so-called legacy that he might have left now. He wouldn't have been able to do that if he said, we are Moors. He had to always speak about Moors from the third party. The Moors did this, the Moors up here, the Moors traveled, the Moors met this guy, the Moors this, the Moors, but once they don't make the claim of it, that I'm it, right? As soon as they start talking like that, well, you know, we are Moors. You know, that's why they always play the, you know, they'll say we are Moors and then they'll bring in the black. If they're making the connection to us being Moors.
If they pay attention good, all what you were showing us yesterday, the bottom line is technically telling them these are all the Moors from all long till now, and see some in my audience right now. Like that's what he wanted to say. You know what I mean?
That's the perspective.
Yeah, but he can't say it like
right,
that.
because of the oath.
Right.
Can't bond with it. That's
Right. You know what I mean?
All what he's showing is plain that he's telling you.
Right.
But it's interesting though because I mean he's mentioning it, and he put a considerable amount of time, as I'm hearing, towards talking about Egypt, towards talking about the Moors, towards talking about who we are as a people. What I think the concept that a lot of people have is, for them to be a Moor, they have to wear a fez.
Right.
And I think that is,
Or convert to Islam.
but they have to convert to something. It's a conversion of something. Whereas when we always state in the book, all it says is a Moor, a dark-skinned person. That's it. Doesn't say anything about Fez, doesn't say about converting, doesn't say anything else. It just says a dark-skinned person. That's one. Land. That's two. Mooring, docking at a port. So I'm saying, so it's not a matter that people don't want to say that they're Moors. It's just their understanding and their familiarity around it. It blocks them.
Yeah, because that's why first thing they always, what religion is that?
Exactly.
First thing they always, what religion is that?
First thing.
Yeah.
First thing. Well, I don't want to wear that hat.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I mean, you put weave in your hair. Excuse my language. I don't want to say it like
Yeah,
that.
but
That's
it's
mean,
simple.
right? But
Sometimes the dead people here. Dead people here.
horse hair, like whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
plain.
Now let's just get into it. Then. Yeah, it's dead here.
Yeah.
So it's not, as I said, it's the blockages from my understanding, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced is, I don't want to wear that hat. So I don't want to.
I don't want to be a Moor.
I don't want to be a Moor. I'm not a Moor. I'm African American. I'm black. I'm this. You know, it's like.
Yeah, but that's why they're getting killed screaming Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Never will. Be over.
So I had two theories. I had a thought that possibly I think what is happening is this level of awareness is on the front burner now.
Yep.
And that the Masons know that really they're talking, and this is the perspective I thought about it, because he is ultimately a Moor. The history that they have to go into has to come through Egypt,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
it's not like, if they were Australian, if we were Chinese, we'd be talking about something else.
Right.
Yes.
So ultimately, Egypt is the point of view.
Yeah.
But Egypt also is the period where we know that that's where the fraud came into it,
Yeah.
because it was Hakupta,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't
Right,
Egypt.
right.
Egypt becomes the corporate side of things.
Yeah.
So that's what they have to push, and that's the relation point to it. Now, the reason why they can't, so what they realize, the Masons as a whole, because I've had some actual personal relationship with Masons from the so-called black side and the European side, and Cujo knows this because I work with a grandmaster at my work right now on the European side, and he's and we're breaking down some stuff. But what I've realized is that for them to connect, the secrecy is the part that keeps them in power, right? Now, knowledge that they hold on to is power, but knowledge really should be for everyone,
Right.
so that we're all equal. But the only thing that keeps them in power is the fact that I've got this little secret and you don't. It's nothing sort of germane to, something. But if it's released out there, then like Cujo said yesterday to me, then they got to go get a job. Right? So the issue really isn't about the fact that they can't tell us from the perspective of being benevolent. The issue is it's an economic thing. We're not going to tell you that, because ultimately then I got to go and work.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where the real secrecy comes from, and that's what they've been getting these people to swear, though from going back further previous to that, because we know that it comes from, and this is the distinction that I'm getting at, that really the Masons, I was saying this to Cujo, that really the Masons, whether they're European or so-called Asiatic, should be sitting down together. But they're not, because of the fact that the European is in power now, so it's come from that power structure of the European actually somehow owning that knowledge. But that knowledge was really our knowledge.
Yes.
That they're now reversing and then have us being beholden to them for stuff that's ours through a charter that has no validity to them, because they're getting that charter from England, which really has no validity over here. Over here.
Don't they wear fezzes too? Like
100%.
so
And the
it works.
fez is really the connection to the spirit, to the divine, which is to the mother,
Yes.
which is the Masonry, which is that science.
Right.
So that
and again, just because you touched on that, that's another point, that their black power guy, scholar guy, in the secret, he has a fez.
Yeah, and he's getting paid though. But at
Right.
the same time, Are you gonna tell your slave he can be free? So you
Right,
no longer a
exactly.
slave? No one's doing that.
It's not happening.
You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to study that.
But now one of the things that he did bring up in conversation is that, you know, they got many L's and B's in our lodge that know the science.
Yeah.
So the idea of the Black Mason and all that stuff it's there, but within that there's things that are being taught because they're not necessarily going in with a black mindset like that. They're going in with a black mindset that's actually reclaiming this history that they're not supposed to have. Because they're supposed to be going as Black Masons. They're supposed to be going in there as dumb niggers. And they're just going in there just to, what the Europeans said, for them to be part of the, and then they figure out, well, hey, you know, we'll join the sororities and we'll join we'll join the Masons, and then we'll get in as the good black guys, and then we could have the good life, whatever. They realize that that's BS. Because their temple, just like what you're saying, is not showing that there's brotherhood. When they go to their lodge got stuff peeling off the wall and stuff not painted and same pews since 1960.
And this is what I was talking
and then
about.
The European stuff, they got the marble floor.
This is what I was talking to. This is what I was talking to my European brethren, fellow man at work. I said to him, "Isn't it interesting that we're not connected?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't know what the problem is there behind it. We should be whatever." But I realized that that's because of that economic part of it all. Because this is what I was saying to Cujo, that we really now. Because remember, this is what I realized. Masonry is. And because when I was about to join, really Masonry is all just about finances.
Yes.
It's really about being connected to a brothership, so that when I go to go get a vehicle, and you're working there, and you and me do that secret handshake, I get the discount. And then when you come to my work and whatever. So it's really there's no separation. A Mason is just some guy who's in the group.
Yeah, that's
It's not like, oh, you can't be a Mason. You can be a Mason as long as you swear, keep the secret, and walk the line.
Yeah.
So that's where you then realize it's a further step. It's not about some weird lineage and some honor. It's really just about the fact that you didn't do this little ritual in the dance, and you're not paying your dues.
Yes.
And I'll just give you a further one. I was at a lodge a while back, and I overheard the two Euros talking, and this is what now just came to me in this brief moment, and Amari can attest to this, because I brought him some literature from there, that they're in trouble financially, because Masonry, as what it was, which was running the world as a communion of people in secret brotherhood, this international community now has broken that apart. So there's none of that secret stuff. The secrets, that's what the prophet did. He blew the top off of that. So ultimately now, being that Mason isn't giving you that advantage, so then I got no reason to go give you my thousands of dollars every week. So what they're now saying, I'm hearing them saying that he was talking about the craft lodges versus the lodge.
Yeah.
So then I started saying, what is the craft lodge? And I heard him use the term Rosicrucian.
Yeah.
So now I start realizing that the craft lodges are like the Dar, the Eastern Star,
the
versus the lower down
lower
ones,
guys,
right? Because this is what the Euro then told me, that there's a stepping stone. There's like the Blue Lodges and the whatever lodges, and then you go into the Scottish Lodge
Right,
and the Scottish and the York Rite.
Yeah.
So that there's a hierarchy going up there, right? So this stuff is all really just this interconnected sort of pyramid thing that's really keeping us all in it. But really the thing is, for us to release that openly really throws everything, opens the door to everything, and then we realize that there ain't nothing. So the secret to them is to let you think that it's some weird shit that you can't be involved, shouldn't be involved.
Yeah.
And that's the science, because then I asked the Euro, because I was just testing him out. He's like, well, really what Masonry is about you finding your connection with the divine. That's what he told me Masonry was.
So in other words, just keep you looking for the next thing to get.
No, but he was actually saying to me that what really Masonry was.
He's not breaking the oath though. Talking all this to you.
Well, the reason why he isn't is because he knows too that because I have a Freemason thing on my vehicle. So he knew that I was connected in that. He knew that there was some connection. I actually told him that I was going to join, and he was trying to solicit me to join his brother lodge. He's like, you know, whatever. And I broke down the signs that I knew how to get in, because there's a certain way you have to ask to get in, right? And I was breaking that down, and he's like waiting for me to take that step, and I'm just not taking that step. So he and I are just looking at each other. He's like, you know, you should join. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm thinking about it or whatever. But so we're back and forth. But and this is where it is that. But that's the secret behind it, that there is nothing behind that masonry that is anything special. It's the science, it's the speculative science behind it, it's the spiritual stuff that we're talking about. Walk the 70 laws of Ma'at, all that stuff that you really should be following, that's then codified into the groups that then go out and then we look after each other. Which is what we in our community should be doing anyways, but that's what they've broken down from us. And I walk out there tomorrow and I shoot my brother in the street for a nickel bag or something.
Right. And then that's the government that Noble Jawali said he's going to keep the Europeans long here enough to show us how to run it. And then once they show us how to run it, then we just take
Because
over.
you know this, right?
And
this is it's just giving me goosebumps.
Selling that one?
right.
We'll be
we're
getting
getting
that
these
soon.
ones. We should have these ones in a little bit. But yeah.
But the real secret is us coming together as a community and loving each other. You know what I mean? You remember we had like the party going on next door there. Remember that there was there was like they had the wild jam party going on next to at the same place that we're at. The same place, like right, we're here on this side, and you open the door, and then people are like, you know what I mean? So it's that's how crazy it was.
Which had the most people in it?
I would say we never even really, we never really went in there. But then also, remember this one, Cujo? And we should break this one down
I
too.
was asking me too, what was happening over there.
Yeah.
He's from the other side, he come for smoke break.
Yeah.
Cujo,
So,
we should break this one down too, because I just read.
I want to.
That's a whole other class. Okay.
That class.
You missed this one too, Amar, and I'll let y'all come.
Don't forget about the Ashra thing.
Done?
The what? Just to talk about the Ashra.
No, it's happening, bro. Just
Oh, yeah.
no,
No, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. For sure.
we do our road trips.
Yeah.
Good on that.
Road trips after. Yeah.
No, I'm saying like even my basement is bigger than here too.
Yeah.
To have meetings over there and shit.
Set it up.
Yeah, we'll.
Set it up.
No, but bro, you need to just. I'm just letting you know before that. Read through. I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, he's not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Just see.
Question: how do I get my
I
flex?
just did it just now.
We're working on connecting with one of these Mason spots, but there's places you can go to. Lauder.com is one. Brother Cosmo L in Cali, he makes fezzes. You know what I mean? So it's out there. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them are actually.
Yeah, I got it. Even
Your brother could talk on his.
publication you can do.
Speak on your perspective of like having the feds. Because that's interesting.
I studied nationality first. It's on our publication. That's what's my thing though. Like you know, because when you're gonna put the fez on, you have a nationality card. You're beginning to activate. So to activate, I believe the knowledge is enforcement.
Yes. And I've been taking a lot of knowledge.
So to fall back.
That's how I even know about this one.
Yeah. So somebody's challenging you know to if you're drawing somebody with a gun, you know to use it.
Yes, for sure.
Very much so. The fez on, somebody's gonna come to you.
Yeah.
Naturally come to you. So you have the knowledge to say whatever question they're gonna have. You yourself should go through that already.
Build on this.
For sure.
For sure.
That's that word magic, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It's very much to me is the enforcement.
Yeah.
It's not the word.
Yeah.
So you should go through that.
Yeah.
And also too, it's revealing to others that we're coming into the enlightenment again.
Mm-hmm.
When their foreparents talked about, for example, one of the Moors made toques with the Moor's head, the Sardinia flag, right? The head on it. So sitting at school or whatever, chilling, this little sister comes over. Hi, how you doing? What? You know about that? She runs off or whatever. Comes back with her phone and the Sardinia flag. That's my ancient mothers and fathers. Now, she's pale. she has locks and stuff like that. You know that she's not European completely, you know what I mean? Because her hair nodded kind of too good, you know what I mean? Her hair nodded kind of too good, you know? She has a certain knowledge of self perspective about her, you know what I mean? Little sister. Seen it and was like, oh my God. Never I think that I'll see somebody who knows about that over here.
Over here.
Over here. Like, how do you know about that over here? Study, you know what I mean? Like,
Persian. There's this Persian guy too like that. He made him go down and I tell him things and he knows stuff. You know what he said to me? He said, no, we don't even watch the rest of your friends around you because you're on the right track. He's from Persia.
From Persia.
And you know what too? Give you better joke. I asked him about the Super Bowl. He said, I can get that for you.
That's about the what?
This.
Oh, the same book?
Yeah, he got it for me. This is how I have it. Here it is.
Right?
He get it from me. I said, how much? He said, no man, that's a gift for you, man. Stay on your knowledge. Stay on your knowledge. That's a gift for you.
Now, remember, keep in mind, right, this prophecy manifested right now. Go with you all these, your brothers from the east are going to come and save you or whatever. Right? So, we're looking at, okay, somebody, young Negro, they come into knowledge who they are or whatever like that, and then they're talking to a Persian, they bring up something to them, and then the Persian drops the book on them, right, that the Moors were talking about in class one day.
That's it.
And this is different. This is a different one to the one that the Moors have. This is not the one that we got. This is a different one. How is it that they have one like this? How did this Persian have a reference point, right? Of some Sufi mystic stuff that we're talking about that in there, it talks about the Moors in there. It's not a secret in that book about the Moors, right? And that we're talking about it in class. And then a Persian, not even, you know what I mean? Like a Persian comes and says, yes, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Whoever you know or whatever, if they're not where you're at, yo, leave those people alone.
Islam.
A Persian.
Yeah.
That shit alone.
Right? A Persian. If it's that deep and people don't want to get on birthrights, then, you know what I mean? It is what it is for them. They're going to see what it is. Page 51, Brother Abdullah's book, Moors and Masonry. Potentate, what it means. The word potentate is derived from the Latin potentia, meaning of great power. One who is bestowed with title potentate is one who wields high controlling power. A potentate may also be referred to as a monarch. Thus, the political term monarchy has its origin herein. Canada's constitutional monarchy. If it's constitutional monarchy, then it's constitutional potentate.
No.
Are you reading that one?
A monarch is a person who reigns over a kingdom or empire as a sovereign ruler. So if the queen is saying that she's a sovereign ruler, how come the dirty Moors aren't calling her sovereign citizen? I'm not going at her. She admits that she's a sovereign ruler. But they never go at her, call her sovereign citizen, make videos that, oh, the queen's a sovereign citizen, she's down with the sovereign citizen movement or whatever. She says she used the term sovereign.
Is it because she's using citizen?
Because that's their girl.
Yeah.
That's their crew.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't talk BS about the matriarch, the queen.
Yeah.
That's their girl. They're down with the fraud of make sure that people don't know about Moors, but let people be Masons, pretend to be Moors in secret, and rule the world. Because they're pretending to be Moors in secret, right? Past potentates. Oh, a monarch is a person who reigns over a kingdom or empire as a sovereign ruler, a constitutional king or queen, or any person holding a preeminent position of power and authority. People who classify themselves as Moorish American are natural persons holding a pertinent position of power and authority, because we're the Aboriginal indigenous people of the land. Past imperial potentates. The European Masons proudly donned the Moorish fez as a badge of honor for conquering the Moroccan Moors in their land. Now the European Masons wear the Moorish fez to symbolize their claim of Moorish national sovereign authority, of which they exercise in a substitute and temporary capacity. So the functioning of what is quote-unquote government that people see is really Freemasonry. Because all the mayors, all the presidents, all the prime ministers, all the whatever title they have in the background, they're Masons. Right? So they're pretending, they're substituting as Moors. On behalf of Moors who don't want to be Moors, they want to be Kemetic and Israelite and all the other stuff that aren't identities of any nation that anybody's going to recognize today. And then secondary to that, Nobu Ali said he has to be up front for your stuff to get recognized. And they don't recognize him. And if they do recognize him, it's just like, you know, a little piece of something they might mention about him or whatever, but they're not going into no grand detail about what it really means when this man said we're not Negro, black, colored, we're Moors. Right? And what he was doing was tying us directly back to our history, our culture, our sciences, our mindset that was stripped from us by our own, that wanted to see the Europeans have power without realizing that if they have a little bit of power, they're going to try to take it all. That's where you get the term of, you know, give them an inch, they take a yard or whatever.
I also read, some of the Moors had slaves themselves, they didn't want to give them up.
Most definite.
You know what I mean? Like, I heard that's what they were fighting against, the good Moors.
Yeah. Because once they realized that the Moors have woken up, like with example with what Brother Abdullah is going to all the different so-called lodges, right? He's going to all the so-called lodges to do a lecture about this, but only the quote-unquote black lodges, right? To go let them know that the stuff that you guys got, that you said the European gave you guys this or whatever like that, it's actually your stuff disguised as European. And you guys are the real head of the Masonic whatever. It's not the Europeans. The Europeans are the subordinates. So that if they say now that they are the Moors, not the Masonry, while they're in the Masonry, now we have our government back, right? They start from the top down, taking everybody out, right? And slotting themselves in. And then of course it's gonna be on behalf of, you know, the Moors, because it's not gonna be the black guys who are gonna have this concept of have a nationality and take over the lodge. We already got the charter, what do we need the European telling us whatever for? We already have the billionaire whatever guys who are black Masons. Then we got the funding to do whatever we want. We have NBA League tomorrow for only black players or whatever. But you know, it's not going to be classified as the norm. You're going to have to be on the side of Moors to benefit now. Because now it's Moorish government. You know, the seal with the pyramid now is back in, just like what Brother Omar said, it's back on the front burner. that not the substitute is running the place, the actual real de jour now is running the place. Because they recognized it for themselves that, hey, we're not black people. We're actually Moors. That's why the Moors and the Mason connection is so intricately put together. Because it had to take place from, us having foresight to know that we were gonna fall. That only other person that we're gonna give this to is gonna be the child of the human family. I mean, give it to him, okay, so then you do whatever you want. Then child just has it, for how much every year, and then realize, oh, damn, this is what this is or whatever, start exercising what this is. But at that time, it was too late. That's why you get stuff as a child. So the time that they're playing around, they thought that they got this thing figured out, we can step in and say, no, you got to thanks back for the stuff. No, you guys, chill. Now we're going to take back over. And it's going to start with these people getting it. Right? So going back to Brother James Small, so I'm telling him, there's this more or whatever, that, he's going to all these different lodges, specifically Prince Hall lodges, and talking about this connection. That, you guys really are connected to this thing or whatever. He's like, I need that guy's number and all that. Now, been in the conscious community, what creates the blockage that it had to be a Moor to put him onto this if he's a Mason? Like he's a Prince Hall, right? For the past maybe year, Brother Abdul has been going around promoting not even the book yet. Before the book was out, he was going to the different lodges promoting this concept to them. And then this individual's lodge or whatever, they don't even know.
It's funny you mentioned that. When Abdullah did the first video, I think it was like 3 years ago, when he was speaking to those the Masons in the basement, wherever.
Yeah.
And the part when he got to the wait, what's up, my white brother?
Yeah.
Stone face.
Yeah.
Everybody in the room was like, this guy talking about white
What are you talking about?
Then he met the free white person.
Yeah.
And they're like, that can't be true.
In denial.
Like,
in denial of your ancestry.
You know what I'm saying?
rdbaypublications.com, make sure you go on the website.
So it's in retrospect, you look at it, it's like, wait a second. It's like the Prince Hall guys, they get the rituals, but they don't get the information.
Right.
And then when you go to the Scottish Rite guys, they got the information, but they just don't have the rituals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, who's really playing who? Could be a question.
Right, and keep in mind, Islam to Brother Sheldon L, who on the Canaanland Moors page has put up the videos with the Dr. Ben and stuff like that, telling us that we're Moors and all that.
Yeah.
Right? That goes right back to James Small, John Henry Clark, go down the line, all the black scholar guys who Dr. Ben is, to all the scholar people who are around today that everybody says are the black scholars since he's not around no more. All those guys rep him hard.
For sure.
Right? But he's a grand potentate. So Dr. Ben had jurisdiction over his own lodge. Right? But he also had a doctorate in Moorish history. Which is why we're looking at it that he was able to talk about it. Because he had enough to know that he was a Moor. So what you gotta tell me I can't talk about my own stuff? The hell out of here. So he put out all his books, big ass books like this or whatever, talking about Moors. Africans are Moors and Asians are Moors and actually let's get something. No. It was from the same question? Yeah. Yeah, because they were saying they jumped ship. They ran from the question period. because of time.
Yeah.
And they're doing it today.
So many people have questions that
They couldn't even deal with one.
they had a couple questions, but they were gonna get me in. I couldn't be last probably.
You know they're not getting you in. You know they're not getting you in with your question. Well, that's crazy. Just got a text. Just got a text from Brother Sheldon. Well, he has a testimonial. Right, so Brother Sheldon's questions that he had sent was for us to ask for today, and then, you know, you even get opportunity to go there with it, right? All these individuals that are in the so-called black scholar position, by not having a doctorate in Moorish history, makes the oath stick. That they have to shut up and can't really talk about it. Unless it's personal, one-on-one, and then they'll drop it on you like he was dropping it on me. With no problem. No fighting, no debating about anything. You know what I mean? Talking about, you know, yeah, we just need the unity or whatever. Go ask Brother Ali Mel Bey. Go ask Brother Ali Mel Bey what Dr. Ben said about the SETI and Dr. Ali Mel Bey debate. That's closed door conversation that nobody doesn't hear. But Dr. Ben pretty much just gave it up. But don't get it from me. Go ask Dr. Alim what Dr. Ben said. Right? About this concept of the Moors being debated about. See what he says. Forget what we say. Go see what the great scholar said. And then you realize quick fast that there's people that are actually against the birthright of people being Moors. And their purpose is to make sure that people stay blinded as to their nationality, their birthrights. You know what I mean? Like we said, James Paul known about Noble Drew Ali since he's 18. Known about him.
He's 70-something.
He's 70-something now. He's been known about Noble Drew Ali. So if he's a scholar and he knows, then that means all the other scholars have to have known. If he knows, right? If Dr. Ben has doctorate in Moorish history, then there has to be some type of Moorish history connection to learning or whatever, that he's their black guy, God scholar guy that everybody honored. Has to be a connection, right? It's not like open the door. Open it before they run away.
What are they looking for?
Oh, they're going somewhere else?
Yeah. There was a party in here.
So, like, if they're saying that they're Masons, then we know already that they took the oath. We know they took the oath, right? If they took the oath, it's because that they can't tell the science. And if they tell the science, they're telling it to black guys or whatever like that, so it's not going to register with them people. Because they don't even know what they're looking at. Other thing that he brought up. Right? He had a Pharaoh. Oh yeah. I did forget about you.
We're about there, man. We have to read now.
Is that right?
Pharaoh.
Anyway, that wasn't that.
No, it's not long still. It's short.
So, you had a pharaoh sitting on something looking like this, right? And then he said, you have the pharaoh right here, and the pharaoh is sitting on this square, right? He said the pharaoh is sitting on this square. Yo, check the door. Open the door.
You want me to read it? It's a small.
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay. So Pharaoh, a title of an ancient Egyptian king. That's it.
The title of?
Ancient Egyptian king.
There's another chair here. Mark.
I'm coming.
Oh, there's a chair.
The phone's on the phone. No, leave it there. That's some chair.
Right? So no different than what Juali was talking about.
Crazy, eh?
That when he said ancient Moabites, he's talking about a specific Moabites. Right? So they said in the different definition, ancient Egyptian. So they're talking about specific Egyptians. They're not talking about these people we see today in Egypt or whatever like that, that people trying to connect us to because they got fezzes, they got bay and stuff like that, and saying we're them. You know, they're adopting our stuff that we were doing there, as far as, you know what I mean, the culture, right? So he said that the Pharaoh is sitting on this square. And he made the statement, right? Some of you are going to, like you know what I'm talking about. And some of you know what I'm talking about. And then he would look back at the fez wearers in the back, right? The ones with the fezzes.
I did push up my hand.
Right.
I know what you're talking
I know exactly what you're talking about, right? And again, just putting it out there, that as somebody who has taken an oath, he's not just gonna Taj Tariq Bey or whatever about Moorish history, but they're gonna put out certain stuff to let their people know that they have a connection to this thing. Through ancient Egypt, they have a connection to this Moorish paradigm that everybody wants to avoid, not deal with, or whatever like that, when it's actual factual. That there's a connection between the two. There isn't a separation. There isn't the Egyptians, and then the Moors, and then the whatever, and then it's all our people. Right, and again, today we'll call them Moors. And then we'll call all that history and all that stuff, metaphysics, we'll call it Moorish science. Because, you know, the Moors are the custodians, so why not call it the people who got the stuff? You know what I mean? Why would the Moors have it and we call it Egyptian when we could just call it what it is, based on who has it, right? Was there any, because I was in and out the room, but was there any stuff from yesterday that stood out with, so we're just doing a little recap?
Yeah, well, for me, what stood out was that, I mean, I came kind of late, so after it started, so I didn't really see the first stuff he said, but during the lecture, I mean, I stopped counting how many times he referred to the Moors. At least 20 times he said the Moors out of his mouth. I kept on asking Brother Neward, did you hear? Right? It's just, every second he was like, Moors this, Moors that, Moors this, Moors that.
Yeah.
Right?
That wasn't when I was in the room, because I didn't hear none of that.
Yeah, so.
I maybe heard more once when I was in the room.
After the second, especially the second part.
Yeah, in the second half.
Second half.
Yeah.
He was just on. He said it at least 20 times.
Right, and again, the second half was after. You know what I mean? Went down, sat with him, gave him his little package. You know what I mean? You know, so the Morris, thank you very much for doing the. You know what I mean? Calling us out, giving us shout outs or whatever like that. When other people come, they don't even care if we're there. At least he gave us a shout out or whatever. You know what I mean? So, and then the second half. Gave it back. So the people could know, you know what I mean? Just like Phil Valentine, he wasn't as brazen, pointing our table out and stuff like that, tell people make sure they go. You know what I mean? he was subtle with it, because Phil Valentine's an elder too, but different level.
In the beginning, I didn't hear when it was calling out the prophets, Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
And I noticed he didn't talk about no with
Right.
Jordan, but along the way, he said it.
Right. And
He
again,
said, Jolly wrote
the,
something, he said something.
to talk about it, it's part of the whole idea of the secrecy or whatever like that of the Masonic oath.
Yes,
You
okay.
can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't talk about this stuff.
But he called the name, he used it.
Yeah.
He said it.
And once you're dealing with, like for example, if there was any Europeans there, trust me, it would have been closed mouth stuff. He would be talking open like how he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Because the oath is like they deal with you if you violate the oath.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like this is not some spit in your hand with the other guy and then you guys now we're brothers and stuff like that. This is real deal. You know what I mean? Like Brother Omar saying, this is how we run in order for us to have power. And this information really is for those individuals who, we want to be on whatever.
But I think at one point they said we shouldn't get involved with the Europeans.
Right.
Like entwined with them.
You know what I
Did
mean?
you say something like that?
And again, it's coming from the
And then you have to
perspective.
joke it off a little bit.
Right.
Like,
Because it's coming from the
but technically
perspective.
it's saying don't go date a white girl then
Right.
if you're a so-called black.
If you're because
the
as
history
a Mason,
yeah.
he knows the stuff, but they can't completely
Say it, right.
put it all out
Alright, yeah.
because of the oath. Because the oath is for them to be quiet. Just like he was talking about the oath that the doctors take is the Imhotep, who's under disguise of a Greek whatever, but there's no historical anything of this individual ever existing in Greece or nothing. Guy doesn't even exist, but they have this guy that they create a mythos using our lives. So they took Imhotep's life and then they created a mythos who now they take an oath to this guy. Right? They're taking an oath to this individual who's a dark-skinned guy, like his statue is black stone they use to make his statues. And the oath that the doctors take is to this individual, this man, Imhotep.
What's his name? Imhotep?
Imhotep, yeah.
Yeah. So what equivalent do they use over in Greece to Imhotep?
Well, like if we look at all the cultures, we'll see that the late people always adopt something from the ancient culture and they configure it to suit their existence, right? But the original people would, it's them. You know what I mean? Like in
The reason why,
no, go ahead.
The reason why I asked that is because I know with Theos, right?
Yeah.
Is Tahuti.
Right. Or
So-
Thoth or
or
whatever.
Thoth,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And where we get the word Thoth.
Right, yeah.
And so forth. That's why I'm asking with Imhotep, who do they replace him with?
Yeah, I can't remember the name. But it's the same concept. You know what I mean? There's a guy. There's a personage that they used. You know what I mean? They took Tahuti and used that based on Tahuti being the scribe. But in order to scribe, you have to think, right? So Thoth, like you're saying, and then that became the personage. The guy with the beard or whatever like that, wearing the, you know what I mean? And then he's the individual that came and brought them. And then they have, and they have some real people in there to make you kind of go with it. So they got Socrates, Plato, and whatever like that. And then you're like, okay, so these are probably some Europeans. I guess they have, but half those people were mythos. Based on our people, based on our story. Just like with Christ, is Krishna. talk to Hindus, they'll tell you, yeah, we got the body in India. What do you mean, where's Jesus' body? It's right over there. Right? The Hindus know. Because they know that Christ comes from Krishna. It's not.
Well, there's also an Egyptian word as well, ka'ais.
Right.
Which is from the hippopotamus oil that they used to.
And then when you go to the hippopotamus, that's the middle, the focal point of the temple of Dendra.
Yeah.
So if the hippo is the center, and then the hippo that's androgynous or whatever like that, you know what I mean? So they're telling people about how everything started and where everything came from, blah blah blah, whatever, right? That's their science, their perspective that they're presenting. And then other people are like, yeah, that's interesting or whatever. But we don't need all that. This right here, we'll take this and we could use this and we could create a whole world of whatever like that. And then there's people create their culture. And only people who are studious and study realize, hey, you guys not Hebrew because you took Hebrew stuff. How are you Hebrew Israelite when your stuff comes from Canaanites? No way that you're Hebrew Israelite. No way that you're Egyptian if that came out of Cush. And then there was people called Cushites. Like, we know that there was people called that. But those people were before Egyptians. So were they really Egyptians? Did the Egyptians adopt the Cushite stuff? You trace them back and then, those guys took some. And then the stuff keeps going back. But what we know is that it's always our people. It's always dark-skinned people. He was going through that too. Going through all the different pope poses with him, Pope praying to a black Madonna. And then all the people, European Madonna. The Pope, black Madonna. Then the Pope, black Madonna. And then two popes, black Madonna. Then before the Pope gets to whatever, he gets a giant, Super Bowl trophy, whatever, of a black Madonna when he becomes Pope. And then when they transfer from Pope to Pope, they have to do it before the black Madonna. And revealing all the stuff. Right? Because again, looking at somebody who's, getting up there in age, you know what I mean? It's like when people get on their deathbed and stuff like that, they start to, sorry, but in 1960 whatever. Press record.
Just like, I remember when he was talking about the power when he was a young man with a girl thing and whatever. You didn't get that part?
No, I don't think I was in there. I don't think I was in there with that part. Yeah. Yeah, what is it?
It's 7 minutes to 3.
Yeah, we'll be starting later. Yeah. So they're revealing. They're letting the people know, or he's letting the people know the perspective to look at this thing, historical, so that you can see yourself in history.
Far back.
Way back.
Way past Europe and coming into existence.
Right. Going back.
Way back.
Right? So there was definitely a connection made between these so-called people classify themselves as whatever that they want, and that their scholar knows about the historical perspective of Moors, and that he was presenting it to them in order for them to get some clarity for real about who they are and how they should look at themselves when they study who they are. Because, again, he's coming from the school of Dr. Ben, who Dr. Ben got doctorate in Moorish history. Right? And he put it on the record too with Moors that he didn't get his true education till he got that education in Moorish history. He knew some stuff before the doctorate, but after he got the doctorate, that's when he got all the stuff. And then keep in mind again that he was grand potentate. So being in that position in the lodge, that means that he was definitely, completely in a different realm, which is why his, quote unquote students, subordinates, whatever like that, honored him the way that they honored him. right? Because it's just fact. We got some questions. Anybody have questions? You got any stuff to? Oh yeah, and
Pharaoh.
when you look at the pyramid, and we were talking about the hierarchy, the pyramid structure of the Freemason, whatever, that you have, you know, the low level ones and then the different branches, and then by the time you get to the top, which is the all-seeing eye, that's the Great White Brotherhood. And then the Great White Brotherhood would be the, you know, ancient whoever that gave them all their stuff, which is us, which is why it's secret. Right? Which is why they have this seal in existence and they never use it, never stand in front of it, whatever. People take this and put that on them. But they never claim this out of their own mouth that this is their pyramid or whatever.
True.
People do that. Right? People say Illuminati and put this. And then everybody just runs with that. Oh, I guess those guys are Illuminati, but they don't push this and their stuff.
No, it's true.
You know
They know they can't.
They know that they can't. As soon as they do, they're giving up the stuff, and you know they're gonna get their door knocked.
And the people that's pushing it is the owner for it, and they don't know.
Right.
But, question.
Yeah.
With the pyramid and the eye, that's from my research and what I've seen. I've seen with the lodges, whether it be the Shriners or the Masons, right? That's incorporated in their symbolism depending on what degree and how far you've gone. So isn't that the reason behind why people will associate it with them? And again, like you said, the secrecy. So why would they themselves come out and say, this is what this is and we use it? But when you look, if they've written any books that you can get your hands on, those symbols are in there. So
Yeah, but most because of it being secrets, if Masons write books, it's for Masons. If that gets out in the public or whatever, that's because some Mason was like, hey, everybody, people got to get this info, and they took it outside.
Well, the ring also, right? So
you know what I mean?
I was to have a ring with the G and compass and that, and someone sees it.
Right, but that's because that's only for the inner circle. That's not for people on the outside. Like, there's nobody on the outside that knows what's going on in the lodge. Only the ring people, no. Only the handshake people, no. Everybody else is ignorant to what's going on.
To some degree,
right?
But what I'm saying is, I guess I'm not understanding as to why you're saying they don't claim the symbolism when they carry it around.
Like if you look at like when we look at the United States note, right? That has the pyramid on it. Or you got there yet?
Yeah, the dollar.
Yeah. Just pass that so you can look on it while we're talking about it.
There's an owl. No, I'm familiar. There's an owl, the web.
Right. No. Yeah. Well, beyond all that, because all those things are the things that are trying to divert you away from the fact that there's an abandoned governmental seal for this land called North America. Every time we see them talk, they only talk behind the eagle. The pyramid is also on the back right there, next to it. But they never ever talk in front of the pyramid. We know that the people who stand up for the eagle, those are the Mason guys. Those are the guys that are in the lodges and all that. But they're not in front of the world, in front of the pyramid. They're in front of the eagle, in front of the world. They're showing the world that we are the eagle. We are the European nations that came over here.
So
the peoples whose real government it is the pyramid people. That's why their masonry thing always goes back to the science that came out of Egypt. But they can't present that they're Egyptians because they're not the Egyptians.
But also the eagle is also associated with that, with us in the regard that you're saying. So why are they comfortable to come out in the open and say we're the eagle when that's not really them either?
Because the eagle's tied more closer to them than the falcon.
How?
because those are two different species. And Heru represented the falcon, not the eagle. Right? So again, it comes back to the thing that if they came out and used the falcon bird instead of the eagle, then it would give up too much. That they're dealing with our sciences. They have to disguise, just like we were saying with the Thoth, and they have to disguise our sciences.
Not to cut you, because I'm just
when
trying
they
to
present
get
it.
an understanding here. I came in late night.
Right. No, it's all good. It's all good.
But to you who know about what the eagle or the falcon symbolize, then if they use either or, it will mean whatever, right? But vast majority do not know the falcon represents them or the eagle represents them.
Right.
So again, I'm still not understanding as to why, from what you're saying, they feel comfortable to use the eagle, which again represents us, and it is our symbol.
But the eagle represents us, but it's more connected to them. If you say eagle or falcon, if you say eagle or falcon, falcon more gravitates to Asiatic dark-skinned people, not eagles. Eagles more gravitate to Indians, natives population.
Why do you say that? Because they use it?
Because they use it.
Yeah, but
they don't use use falcon feathers and stuff like that. They use eagle feathers for everything that they do.
Because of where they're living, right?
No, even with the totem pole, look at their totem pole, they always use the eagle too.
Because
that was handed to them from us. I'm still trying to,
most definite.
Yeah.
Most definite. But we're not talking about over here culture. Right? Okay. We're talking about these Europeans that are over here, but they're not using over here culture. They're using culture from across the Atlantic Ocean over here.
But the Moors, who are also here, use those symbolisms
right,
here.
Most definite.
Yeah.
But if we're going to take over, just like we're not going to take over calling ourselves Jews, because they've been using it. We know that we're the Jews. We know we're the Jews. But we're not going to say we're the Jews, because those guys have been using that, saying Jews. So opposed to Jews, we'll go back to the origin, and we'll say Yehudi. Because we know that Hebrew doesn't have J's.
Yeah, till 1600.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're going to a deeper perspective of what it is. Their perspective is surface, speculative. Our perspective is operative. Right? Our perspective is manifest, not just think about it. Our perspective is what you put in the mind should manifest on the earth plane. Right? So we're not denouncing or, you know what I mean, what they have, how they're using it. Yeah, we know that as our stuff. But we know that there's a deep, we're trying to take people to the next slope down the rabbit hole, opposed to the level where they're at, that they're just looking at this on the surface. Because once you get down to those next levels of the rabbit hole, you realize that this is a cavern down here. This is not just, you know what I mean, like this, you see the ants going in down to this little thing or whatever. Just, oh, you know, the ants hole. But then when you pull that up, it's like, right? Because remember that this is where the information, because of our mindset of not being trained to study, take education serious. Unless, you know, some Europeans trying to put us onto something or whatever, right? Because we haven't took studying serious, now that we're taking studying serious in this age of information's at your fingertips for real, you don't have an excuse not to know in this day and time. If you don't know in 2016, like, you're definitely zombie. You know what I mean? Your next meal is somebody's neck. Right? In this day and time right now, nobody has an excuse to be dumb nigger in this age right now. Everybody should be at least trying to get off the plantation, kind of. There's no way you're still sitting down like, oh yeah, there's 10 of us here, this one guy on the, you know what I mean? And we're not gonna jump this guy. You know what I mean? whip, take his gun or whatever like that, take his horse, let's get out of here. Like, who's sitting around looking at this European on a horse talking about your nigger and stuff like that? What are you talking about? It's 2000, what? That's going on still? Nah, we gotta get up out of here. We gotta do something to change this paradigm. And then that's where it comes into adopting the Moorish nationality. So automatically they don't see like nigger. All right, Mark, please, right? So just like Brother Omar gets, so Omar said that, you know, he knows people that are grandmaster in the lodge, whatever.
I'm family members of Masons.
Yeah, and because
You see what happens? Oh, my uncle was a
yeah.
Mason.
Like,
Ours is Eastern
hold on a
Star.
second.
I know.
You know
You
what I
gotta
mean?
study both sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And once they realize that you're not Negro black colored, then the door opens. Right? Once they realize you're not Negro black colored, now you're able to actually get the facts, the proof that what I'm studying, I'm definitely on it. Because this European right here is agreeing. You know what I mean? This European is saying, yes, I'm going to let you know. That fest that you got or whatever like that, man, that goes back to your ancient, blah, blah, blah.
Well, they should.
But they'll never tell you if you go to them as Negro black colored.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that'll be them violating the oath. That's why I said that. You know what I mean? Sat down next to, you know what I mean, the elder, and we're building. We're building. It wasn't even crazy, 10 minutes. But that little 10 minutes that I know that he knows what this is about.
Oh yeah.
And everybody who's been saying he's their master teacher, middle finger for all those guys.
I got a question too.
Because, like, they can't say that that's their master teacher.
Yeah.
And they're not down with being more. Nobody's not saying don't be Kemetic. Just said, yo, you need a nationality. Just like a brother
Most
yesterday.
definitely.
Just like, remember your question, but just like this brother yesterday, that, you know, he was at our table for like an hour. Then eventually, you know what I mean, what's your nationality? Well, I'm Ghanaian. So, how come you didn't say African, black, or whatever like that? And you know, he could just laugh to himself because, you know, he has a nationality. Like, now I get what you guys are trying to talk about you're not black. You know what I mean? Now I get where you guys are coming from. Right? Because you didn't ask me what color I am, or whatever like that. You asked me what nationality.
It's like, now I don't want to cut you, but I had that experience a couple of weeks. A week ago, I went to Home Depot, and it was Moorish. I don't want to say unconscious more, but one of our people. And she was the cashier. So she had to do the filling out of the paper for my tax thing there. So I asked her, what part of the continent you're from? And she goes, I'm Canadian. So what part of the continent you from? I'm Canadian. I said, okay. And I just leave it at that. She seemed a little bit not one you could talk to.
Certain ones you just.
And she seems to be a scholar.
Yeah.
Because she's holding on our post in the Home Depot.
Yeah.
And she don't know where the hell she is or where she is.
Canadian.
Yeah.
What part? Canadian.
And I asked her about no country. I asked her about what part of the continent you're from. What continent? What
Yeah.
continent is the word?
Right.
She
Right.
missed that.
Missed it.
She passed that.
Missed
she don't
it.
see that.
Because they don't even talk about continents anymore.
No.
All they talk about is states and
Yeah,
countries,
states and
cities.
yeah.
And everybody's in that time loop.
Yeah.
Just in a time loop. Corporate everything. Corporate this, corporate that. No. Don't.
Person,
Yep.
citizen.
All that.
Yeah.
But that's a matrix. That's a realm. You know what I mean? You know? Just like it's not really, you know what I mean? People jumping out biting people's necks as a zombie. You know what I mean? Zombies guys with the phone.
It's worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Walking into fountains and stuff like that.
It's worse. It's worse. It's
You
worse.
know, walk into a pole because you're on your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
Crash your car because you're texting somebody.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Kill somebody or whatever. Zombies. Brain dead people. You know what I mean? Yeah, you had a question though.
Yeah. Now I heard we had a more our own court in Philadelphia, right? How could we be able to do it like in Canada or Canaanland or other places around other than this one court? You know what I'm saying?
Well, when you look at you know the concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's sanctioned by them, it's not yours really like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like those individuals just get to use the building to do whatever, right? But it's not for the concept of court that we're thinking. It's an interfaith court. But it's not a concept of court like how we think, go there, sue, this guy.
No, I know
violating us,
that.
so we can go take them to Moorish court.
Yeah, it's more like to keep us in a jurisdiction.
It's all.
I know that, but I'm saying like we need more closer around this here too. You know what I mean? Because I've been spreading the word too. Obviously, I'm studying and learning more, so I want to read this book.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like people waking up too because they always think, oh, are they Masons or do you have to be Muslim and stuff like that? So I explained to them, no, you know what I'm saying? It's a nationality. You got to claim your birthright, and you can't say your name is Johnson, or go for a will under the Johnson and say your last name is David.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to show them on that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Which is good. A lot of people are waking up. Don't
Yeah, no, most
a lot of people
definitely.
know, but
It's that time.
we need more. You know what I'm saying? Like you need more.
But again, even if you look up more in the dictionary right there, Black's Law.
Mhm.
Right? You know, like the individuals who are going to use this are the ones who study. If people aren't studying, yeah, I see you. If people aren't studying, right, then this is just books on a shelf to them, right? But there's people who actually know every book on the shelf, wherever that was there, and then they apply that.
Well, you got to be told about the book to even know about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't just wake up, oh, I gotta go get Black Law.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Someone has to tell me that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But
So-
again, like you can be told about it, and then got it on the shelf, and it's just
No, that's up to you, obviously.
Right.
Anything in the world.
it's
in
usable.
college, you know what I'm saying? You got
Usable.
textbooks. It's up to you to study them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
you know what I mean?
yeah, it just
exists.
Speaking of Black's Law, I was probably 2 days ago wanting to purchase the book for myself. Do you sell that here, or
No,
do
we
I
usually
actually
get
have
those
to go online and get it?
Yeah, we usually get those online. Those are just ones that we pick up.
I will, what I do is I hunt those books down. They're getting more and more expensive now.
Yeah, it's
So a lot of
crazy.
us have been finding out about
Because
them.
what, they were one before.
If you're looking for one, get in contact with me and I'll get it.
Because what, 2000?
I'm looking for all.
That's fine, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they're getting more and more expensive. It's
Every year.
Yeah.
every year,
Because
right?
2000,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's get some today. You know, cause I teach my children this stuff too, right? I tell them you can't be going to school saying you're black, light skin and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I gotta show them more about it too. Look under here. You know what I'm saying?
on that level, that book's not for that. Yeah, that's just dictionary.
This.
Yeah. You know what I
This
mean?
is dictionary, so is it like law words? Or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like law
it's
words.
law.
Okay,
You know
I
what
see.
I
Still
mean?
like
So
this.
yeah, it's needed, but
Of course.
But as far as the historical perspective, yeah. But as far as the information about who we are, there's things in there, but it's
Yeah,
not really
and the
gonna
etymology.
take you.
Yeah,
I heard about the etymon.
Yeah.
How would you get that?
Same thing, you know, like unabridged dictionaries would deal with etymon or the origin of this word. So you would get unabridged dictionaries opposed to paperback. So the paperback dictionary will just tell you duck, whatever it is, right? The etymology dictionary or the unabridged dictionary will tell you duck, you know, noun,
Underbridged?
verb, the whatever it is, where it came from, how many different languages it was.
Yeah,
in,
I'll show you
whatever,
that.
it'll give you
Yeah,
a full,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know what I'm
German
saying?
and all that,
So it'll
yeah.
give you some backup, not
Yeah.
just you know, black, and then today, you know, you paperback, black, you know, person from the black race of the whatever,
Yeah,
and everybody goes with that as, hey, all right, that's who we are. It's in the dictionary, you know what I mean? But yeah, which, you know, they'll tell you, revised edition every year.
Yeah.
What are you guys revising every year? It's words. Like, what do you mean? How words meanings changing? You know what I mean?
Is the excuse. Every
Right?
year it
Yeah.
evolves.
It's evolving.
They put
People
twerk
buy
into the
that.
dictionary.
Right, yeah.
It's
Right?
like if you go back to, because I have a dictionary
What's that?
from like the 70s and 60s, and nigger is in it,
Yeah.
right? But now,
No, yeah. You will find it. That
people
is
still using it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. You got right. For all the questioning people, we'll probably get to these for Tuesday's class. But we still have to get to this event today. But yeah, you got.
So, Moore, an officer in the Isles of Men who summons the courts for the several sheddings. The office is similar to the English bailiff of 100.
And then check bailiff.
Bailiff?
So from a law perspective, a Moor is equivalent to the bailiff of 100, with 100 bailiffs. In you know, European times when they had their little stuff that was running or whatever, when they gathered together 100 bailiffs to do whatever, that was called Moor. Right? And then when you check Moor in the dictionary, then the Moor will tell you about the North Africans and the Arabs and the others, so you know that their reference point from a law perspective of the bailiff is having sovereign authority, the same stuff that I'm just talking about. That in order for you to even exercise on a certain level, which is why, again, the sheriff has the 6-point star.
Yes.
Because the sheriff is really the sharif, who's really the lawman, or the quote-unquote mufti in Islamic whatever. That you steal something, that's the guy cutting your hand off.
Yeah.
Right?
Or in Shriner.
Huh?
Shriner and them.
Right. Yeah.
Mufti.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And again, what this is exposing is that when Shrinerdom says mufti, they're actually claiming the position of the Moors for this lodge that they have. Because the Moors aren't claiming it, the Moors want to be Negroes and they came over here on slave ships or whatever. When they should be really claiming to be the muftis and the L's and the Bays and the ones who were in charge of making sure that society's happy because they got somewhere to go learn, and then over here they can go over here and they get any type of spice that they want, and any type of incense that they want to go to these guys over here. And then there's a guy that's sitting down there with a turban on, and he has this little thing. You go in there, and then you can get any sword that you want, anything made out of brass, gold, silver, I don't know, whatever. And then you have, metal and all this stuff you take to this guy, and he's gonna bang it all out, make sure it's straight for you. And all these people look like us. And all these Europeans like, damn, these guys take some of this, go back to the Europeans, and then pretend to be God to them. Then some Europeans, like Socrates, these people, they were like, put that guy on the cross, burn him at the stake or whatever, because what's he talking about? Ancient whatever. What are you talking about, ancient whoever guys over there took you to the pyramid, taught you something? What do you mean? Who did that to you guys? Who? Which guy? There's nobody out there with no pyramids, whatever. Burn him at the stake. Right?
Yeah.
But then push them as their founders of whatever. When they kill them people, their own, because they were studying our stuff. And then now that's what we get today if we trying to dabble up in trying to know something. You try to be black and say that you know something. About you know some history or something. These people blackball you so fast that you don't have a career.
Messed up, man, because we saved the Europeans, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They would have died off from
Yeah.
disease. You know what I'm saying?
No.
We went over there, we showed them cities, castles, streets, sidewalks, you name it.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying?
You name it.
They live in farms.
You name it.
Oh, don't worry, thank you for that. Man.
At that time,
You're a nigger, hold some chains. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, barns, no farms.
Barns.
Barn.
Kids were in the barns.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
That's when we started.
Well, it came from the cave. You know, went to the barn because they all live with animals and fucking animals. Well, they were. Where did bestiality come from? You don't see niggas fucking dogs. You know what I'm saying?
But now also too that when we look at the quote unquote bestiality, right? We always have to remember that if we made them, then how beastly are we?
I'm not responsible for what my son does if I raise him the way I know and he did something else. You know what I'm saying? But they got no. But you have to understand too. You got rapists, right? That raped a woman. They kept the child. Child never came out a rapist. So you can't say because of my DNA, I made this person. The white boys talk all the time. They ate her ass. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? You can't smoke my spliff, bro.
I hear you. That's strong views, but. That's
right. Again, right? They're gonna learn eventually.
Can't smoke my split.
That's why I'm trying to keep it PR.
No.
That's exactly where you're coming from. Most definitely. A lot of things go with that. In history, period. Understand that.
No, but the point that we're making, it's not about the actions that is being done.
You have it.
It's not about the actions that are being done, but the point that these things are in existence, right? And we're the founders. We can't say we're the founders of all the good and not the founders of the evil.
That's the issue.
You know what I mean? We can't say that we're not the founders of evil. If we're the founders of good.
I never said nothing like that. I never said nothing like we're no founders of evil. I'm talking about the fucking of the animals.
No, but that's evil.
We weren't in the cage.
That's evil. It doesn't have to do with
They were in the cage.
Like for example, there's right now, right? Right now, there's African tribes, right, that go back into like this is African stuff that go back into before European stuff, right? That Africans would do something where they put their face in the cow's ass to make it yield milk.
Yeah, they still do it right now. That's how they get
Still
milk.
now they do that.
Yeah.
Right now, today, we'll look at that. He's definitely So they're still doing this stuff today, right? They're not doing it from some bestiality perspective.
They want milk.
We're looking at it like that, like it's bestiality, right? They're doing that because they doing that, cow's not yielding no milk, and their culture, their tribe or whatever, they need milk, and that's how they get the milk. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be doing that to get no milk. You know what I mean, right? But if that's what they do, then. You know what I mean? Like that's what they do. Like, you know what I mean? That's what they do. I'm not gonna knock it like that, but I'm not gonna be, anybody wanna, let me just try and see how that works.
Yeah, but that's their belief system.
That's their belief system. Yeah. Just like some people's belief system is cross.
Yeah.
Not a crescent and star. I'm not gonna, because I have a personal agenda, a tree fell on me when I was small or whatever like that. I'm mad at crosses. And I don't want nothing to do with crosses or whatever, so I'm gonna just deal with this crescent and moon because the crescent and moon never did nothing to me, so I'm chill with that. And I'm not gonna hate on the people with crosses because the tree fell on me. You know what I mean? That's what you do then. You know what I'm saying? They do what they do. But we have to learn to you don't have to embrace it, but you have to accept that. You know, we did some messed up stuff or whatever like that. You know what I mean? I wasn't there, but I heard that our people did some messed up stuff. On top of the great stuff that we did.
Yeah.
There were some of our people who did messed up stuff.
Oh, for sure.
That we just gotta acknowledge that, you know.
Because the most messed up stuff is what get us where we are now.
Where we're at.
Yeah.
The messed up
Right,
stuff
our
that got us
people
where
did.
we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So-
That we did.
Yeah, we
You know,
did.
so yeah, we you know what I mean? Like we play the you know, we're Moors and you know, but we know that we're all Moors. You know what I'm saying? Like it is not no you have to claim it.
No.
You know what I mean? You got skin like this, you're Moor, sorry. You could say whatever you want, debate, you know, all that stuff. We'll just call you unconscious versions.
Yeah.
Right? You guys just don't know. So okay, the don't know ones are over there, and they're the ones dealing with all the BS, marching, picketing, lay on the street, don't want to embrace their culture and want to know everything else except
And have
their
less
stuff.
rights than dogs.
Right? So that's the position that they take. Right? They don't have to be in that position. You know, just like Django, he chose to be on the horse. You know what I'm saying? Forget this. I'm gonna get the girl in the end and all that stuff. I'm not gonna be a nigger on the plantation getting whipped and stuff like that. Even jumped off, whipped the dude, shot the dude, and all that. Slaves still there. And he came out, opened the cage. Slaves are in the cage. Just
Comfortable right here.
why you open the cage? What? You open the cage? No, you know what I mean? This is where our people are at.
Yeah, like not
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah,
So we're of the place of our, you know, we accept it all, you know what I mean? You're not gonna really, because, you know, we're taught learn love instead of hate and things like that. So, you know, we're not gonna really, you know, eat people like that. But, you know, some people that know what this is and then choose not to express the broad spectrum of what this is. They just want to give their little, when you talk about the negative stuff the Moors did in history, then, you know what I mean, we got some stuff to say to those people sometimes.
For sure.
But other than that, everybody's down with what it is that this is. You know what I mean? It might appear like people aren't down with it. More than likely because they got some oath that they took to some whatever, and they can't really come and tell you. Right? Which is the reason why we're here. That they can tell us, and if we come back and tell you that, yeah, you know what James Small said? He said, you guys are Moors and all that.
Yeah.
You guys can take it as what you want, but that's your black guy.
Telling you that.
That's your scholar guy that's telling you that, yeah, Moors are on it, you know what I mean? You better get on the science. You know what I mean? So does it, just any last questions or comments, and we'll write
Well, would you read the bailiff thing?
Oh yeah, bailiff.
It's a long thing. It's long, but I'm just reading.
It's all right.
That's important.
The bailiff, one of whom some authority, care, guardianship, or jurisdiction is delivered, committed, or entrusted. One who is deputed or appointed to take charge of another's affair. An overseer, a superintendent, a keeper, protector, or guardian, a steward, spellman, a sheriff, officer or deputy. 1B1. Should I read that?
Yeah, sure.
Court defendant, sometimes called as tipstaff.
Tipstaff. Check that one, Norris.
Tipstaff.
Bailiff is a tipstaff.
A magistrate who formerly administrated justice in the parliaments of courts of France, answering to English sheriffs as mentioned by Bracton.
Alright, we can finish.
So basically you walk into a court, you say you're a Moor, you shut the court down. That's it, clear. And that's what we're just trying to get at in terms of what your nationality is. That's the importance of your nationality. By saying you're a Moor, everything shuts down. Wherever you go, it shuts down. Period. That is why you walk someplace with a fez on, run it, walk into a Catholic church, wherever, everything shuts down. It's happened to me all the time.
Just shots that.
Period.
If there's more to it too, other than the sport too, right?
Yeah, big time.
Wherever you are, you hold court.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause a lot of black people or colored people who feel like they're crayons, right? They feel like, oh, we're dumb. We learned everything from these Europeans, and you see if they knew that we taught everyone, they want to enlighten themselves. They wouldn't feel so stupid no more. So it's more to just the law. It's about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely.
That'd be very important, man.
Yeah, yo. Give it up. Sorry, bro. No problem. So yeah, yo. So we're just gonna close out and head on to the stuff.
Oh, you heading? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just, no, I got sleep.
Oh, you're going to get some. All right. So yeah, we'll just close out. Give thanks to everybody being here. As long as the more is online. You already know. We'll just close out on 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Face the east.
Yes.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through His holy prophet.
Through His holy prophet.
Wujud Ali.
Wujud Ali.
Islam.
So I just want to get you in. What? What? I'm rockets. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moorish master masons, architects for your children, reppin' Friday 13th like Jason without the killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his portion, might be talking to cops, giving them caution. Occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking. See the turning heads, whispering, gawking. But he's locked in, and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own house.
We study the mystics, the adepts, the magi. Wisdom of the ancients can all calcify eyes. Possible mission, free mental numbness. Extract the substance, rid minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what some purport. As we know by being told man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got bought. Placed in the devil's hands, ruling the 7 lands. To dogma rituals, Negro spirituals. Brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past writers' blocks? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak through saw palms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Wind, brass and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding to me serenades. Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear a fake, giving life to seeds. Speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glimpse. You can always look to these hoes like hallucinatory pimps. Sun walked the desert, been more of a since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody. Deny it, you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple 100 years. Walk around town with a couple 100 peers and release the peace of up fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
Dish deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. Dish deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place at schoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces. Peel back, rats, who got cases. Fire stain the corridors of phlegmo faces. Game changers, rule benders and no pretenders. Style lenders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses. Send a message to our veterans, soldiers up and get it in. We on our verge, we emerge subliminal beings. Third eye seeing, still a participant unwilling.
They wanna break me, shape, bait, grade me. Rolling with my main G, double O-M-B. S-O-N is crazy. For a minute that you think you could take me for a fool, like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You've mistaken me, spiders on the roof, in the dark tools. Have you saying you've mistaken me? You better move or I'll mark it. Power pin is my tongue, your existence to target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide carried out in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Some big cats ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Lil' homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters fragile as porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we acquire hope is the DJ skilling some dope, just to keep us afloat. Mind as deep as the boat, brain is a lethal weapon. We one need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levee broke under my Louis fitted the semi-poke. Cause dirty cops will kill your boy, you ain't a joke. The cost of living, higher profits in private prison. These little girls are selling bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas selling niggas just for bail condition. It's like the slavery never ended, where's the intermission? I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and make one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.